Next, I want to bring up Delta Sonderman from Duke Energy. She's an MBA. Background includes brand management, product management, and advertising. And today, she conceives, designs, and deploys energy efficiency products and services for Duke Energy. Duke is certainly one of the country's leaders in modernizing the grid, but also in sharing their findings and learnings with the rest of the industry. I think that's one of the great things about our industry, that sharing in general, but certainly Duke in particular is one of the very best examples. So Delta, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Jesse, and I appreciate having the opportunity to talk with you and others about the work that Duke Energy has done with our home comparison report. We've put a lot of energy into the design, testing, and approach for this product for our customers. And this looks familiar to you, probably from what you saw in Paul's presentation, that the home energy report provides that normative comparison for customers. It engages them in energy efficiency. It shows them how they compare against other households, and then provides them with actions. Again, the same loop that Paul talked about in terms of helping customers see where they stand, providing them recommended actions, and then encouraging change and providing that feedback. And the product that we've put together, on average, our customers are saving around 200 kWh every year. The product, or the MyHer report, which is the My Home Energy report from Duke Energy, it provides customers with a systematic way to understand their energy use. In talking to our customers, we found out that it's hard for them to keep track of their energy use. So by providing them a regularly received report that pushed out to them, it helps them get engaged with their energy usage. Our reports contain easy-to-read charts that illustrate performance. Again, the regular feedback is there to help the customer know where they stand in terms of their energy consumption. And it keeps the information meaningful through targeted messaging. And some of what Patty talked about earlier in terms of segmentation, we're not necessarily using segmentation schema much like she presented. However, we are providing customized messaging to our customers based on what we know about them in order to provide a very specific experience for the customer. You know, in terms of these kinds of products and services for a utility, we certainly have benefits for the customer, but we also say, how is this helping out our own goals as a company? And so for Duke Energy, our energy efficiency, our comparison report is part of our overall energy efficiency portfolio. We found that customers who are receiving this report have a higher level of satisfaction with the company. And it does strengthen customer engagement. As you have heard from both Paul and Patty, engaging the customer in energy efficiency starts the journey for them. It helps them to become more, to take a higher ownership in terms of their energy efficiency. And one of the things that we've done with our program is we have a very strong call support group, so that we've been able to track our customers who are calling in and asking questions. So we've heard from about a little over 1% of our customers who are receiving the report, and this table shows what kind of calls that we're getting. As you can tell, a lot of the calls are about energy efficiency. They want to make sure that their reports are accurate. Because we are using some third-party data, we don't always necessarily have the square footage correct or the age of the home right. So customers are calling in and engaging with us to get that information correct on their report so they can get an accurate comparison. We're also, you'll see we also have customers opt out. And that is, as an opt-out program, we do make opting out very easy for our customers, and that's something that I recommend to all of you guys who may be considering a report, is that we are not segmenting in terms of who we send this report to, other than in terms of some very broad characterizations. But customers do choose to move out of the program, so we do accept that and move forward. To give you a little bit of background with this project, we started working on a comparison report at Duke Energy back in 2009. In the period from 2010 through 11, we ran pilots, both in our Ohio and South Carolina service areas. We used a manual operation, a manual process, internal resources to do the analytics and to create the report and print it and mail it. One of the things we realized that as we did these pilots, that we did not have the infrastructure for commercializing this in a large scale. It was okay to do it internally, but to do the level of sophistication, the level of customization that we wanted, we did put the product out for RFP and look in seeking an implementation vendor, and that was Tendril. We selected their expertise in terms of data management because that's very key in terms of creating a quality report for the customer. So today, we are commercialized in the state of Ohio, our jurisdiction there. We're mailing to over 240,000 customers, and we really went live with Tendril in April. And they're able to provide us a very systematic application of data integration, analysis, and report generation. I do want to stress that this is a data-driven offer. The amount of data that we're collecting and compiling into the report includes not only energy analytics, but also customer analytics. Duke Energy has, over the years, kept track of customer participation in our energy efficiency programs. So because we know what programs our customers have participated in, when we present offers to them or present messaging, we cannot present them with something that they have already participated in. This is a really high-level look at our report, the report that Tendril is creating for us, two-sided. And as you can see on the front, we have a bar chart there that shows how the customer performed against their comparative group in the last month. So we're using actual comparison data there, the customer's data versus their peer group. Underneath that bar chart are recommendations or actions for that specific customer. So based on what we know about their home, we're delivering up actions that pertain to them. On the back of the report, we have a 13-month trend. Again, this compares that household's use compared to the average as well as efficient home within their peer group. And I'll tell you, folks, this 13-month trend is probably the most popular part of the whole report, is people want to see how they're doing over time. And then underneath that is another section of customer messaging, and this is information that is customer specific, where we take what we know specifically about that customer and message them so that the content that we're giving is relevant and meaningful to that customer. When we look at targeting high level, we are having very broad targeting of the folks that are receiving the report. Again, residential, we need 13 months of data. There's 12 months in order to generate that chart. But one of the most interesting things that we learned as we went through this is the participation dynamics, that there are constantly people moving and coming in and going out of our participation pool as people move or as they hit that 13 months of data. So just wanted to make you all aware of some of the dynamic aspects of creating and operationalize a report like this. So in the last few minutes that I have, I really want to just point out, what are the things that to consider for anybody who's thinking about putting out and having a comparison report within their portfolio. Understand that customers move toward the norm. Paul talked about setting goals, and in a comparison report, you have the goal of the normal home, the average home. So customers who are doing better than norm sometimes will slip backwards and go back toward the norm. So they're not saving energy, they're starting to use more. So just have to be aware of that in terms of how you go to market. Sometimes bad news, unfavorable news is not always bad. Customers may not like it that they're not as efficient as they think, but once they know that, then they can start taking action. One of the things under design I really think is critical is this idea of accuracy equals credibility. We work very hard at Duke Energy to make sure that the report that we're generating and sending to that customer is as accurate as possible. Because if we aren't providing good information and valid information, that impacts the credibility that our customers have for Duke Energy. So that's really critical. So that really gets down to another one of the bullet points under data quality is more important than data quantity. You're better off making sure you have a lot of accuracy rather than a lot of information in that report. So the list is here to talk about. I did want to leave some time for questions at the end, though, Jesse.